Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Psalm 19:14. David concludes this magnificent psalm with a personal prayer that reveals the proper response to God's revelation. The verse contains two requests that address both external speech and internal thoughts. Let the words of my mouth refers to all verbal communication. David recognizes that speech flows from the condition of the soul. Words reveal character, priorities, and spiritual maturity. The psalmist desires that his every spoken word meets with divine approval. Jesus emphasizes the importance of speech in Matthew 12:36-37. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. The phrase meditation of my heart addresses the thought life. Meditation suggests deep reflection and careful consideration. The word heart represents the center of human personality, including emotions and intellect. David understands that thoughts precede actions. Pure thoughts produce righteous behavior, while corrupt thinking leads to sinful conduct. The request for acceptable meditation shows spiritual maturity and self-awareness. Philippians 4:8 provides guidance for proper thinking. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Be acceptable in thy sight expresses the desire for divine approval. The word acceptable means pleasing. David seeks God's perspective rather than human opinion or preference. This phrase acknowledges God's omniscience and perfect standards. Human evaluation often proves faulty, but divine assessment remains accurate and just. The believer's goal should be to please God rather than to impress people. 2 Corinthians 5:9 reflects similar motivation. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer contains two significant titles that reveal David's relationship with God. Strength emphasizes divine power and support. The word suggests a rock or fortress that provides security and protection. David recognizes his dependence on God's power for righteous living. Human effort alone cannot produce acceptable words and thoughts. Only divine strength enables consistent obedience and spiritual growth. Redeemer refers to one who purchases freedom for another. In ancient Hebrew culture, a kinsman redeemer had the right and responsibility to buy back family property or relatives sold into slavery. God serves as humanity's kinsman redeemer through Christ's sacrifice. The combination of strength and redeemer shows God's dual role in salvation. He provides power for daily living and eternal deliverance from sin's penalty. Both aspects are necessary for complete spiritual health. This psalm applies to every believer's daily experience. Christians should regularly examine their speech patterns and thought habits. Do our conversations build up or tear down? Do our thoughts focus on godly or worldly concerns? The verse also suggests accountability for private mental activity. God observes thoughts that no human witnesses. Secret attitudes and hidden motives matter as much as public behavior. The Psalm's conclusion ties natural revelation and written scripture with personal application. God reveals himself through creation and his word, but individuals must respond with surrendered speech and sanctified thinking.